Okay.
I'll follow in. She's beautiful.
Thank you.
Goodness. Watch her step too.
Tell me where if I can step on anything. Actually, what I should do is selfie version over my shoulder.
Okay. How many times has she done this before? Once before? Last year? 2 years. Ah, gotcha.
Oh, she's going in for scent now.
She's not picking up. Yep. We're in there. Sometimes if you go a couple years in between sessions, they forget. I know. Yeah, I do recommend it every year. I have a few dogs, a few client dogs, that I will tell them, you're good to skip a year. Because they pull up here and the dog knows right away, like, I'm not going near anything. So if a dog has a really, really strong aversion to the snakes, I will tell those clients, don't even bring them next year, skip a year. Follow-up lesson like 6 months after the first one, just so I can make sure that they remembered stuff from the very, very first session. So she should have seen another session and then she should have kept off on it, but COVID like literally ruined everything. So it is not unusual for her to forget this stuff after only one session and it being a few years ago. Okay, you can be there. We're gonna go back in here. So then we're gonna walk her back in and see if she's gonna avoid this time now that she's been corrected, or is she gonna go right up to it and sniff it again? Oh, good. Yep, let her out. We'll go see her. And sometimes too, dogs that have already been trained before, when they receive one correction, it just all clicks for them, and they're like, yeah, I remember all this stuff.
Well, she had one in her front porch, and when the snake didn't move, and she didn't sense it, she was just out there doing her business with no response at all.
Okay. So it's
She doesn't
possible.
remember.
Yeah, it's possible that she forgot. So we'll walk her up to this one next. Let me get out of your
That's okay.
important way.
You're the important person.
Oh, thank you. No one ever says that to me. So we'll see if she picks up on scent. She's suspicious, which is good. So I don't want to correct her for sniffing the wood, and I know that a dog peed there. Is she sniffing? Yeah. Out. Good. Her back was to me, so it was hard to see. So
right. You got her right.
awesome. So when they're actively panting and their mouth is wide open, they cannot smell quite as much. Just like when we breathe with our mouth open, we can't smell as much either. So I couldn't quite see if her mouth was closed. I assumed it was because I know how she is. If she's gonna put her nose right to that cage, odds are she closed her nose and sniffed. Leslie confirmed that for me, so that's great. The reason why I didn't correct for sniffing the wood is because I don't want her to think that sniffing near it is what gets her in trouble. It's the specific scent of the snake that gets her in trouble. So that's why I wait for her to sniff the snake itself before I correct. So then we'll walk her up again. That's the response that I want there, of like, oh no, get me out of there. Good girl. You can let her out, we'll go treat. I don't want her to lay down. She's like, okay, well, I don't want to go there, so I guess I'll just lay here.
All right, this one will rattle.
Good girl. Let her out. Yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
Good
So
girl,
I didn't
Good
correct
girl.
there for a reason, and I did not tell Leslie to run her out because I wanted to see what decision she would make on her own. And on her own, it took her a little while, but she's very like nonchalant anyway. But it took her a while. Eventually, she was like, "Yeah, you can handle that. I don't want anything to do with that," and walked away on her own. So that's absolutely perfect. So now I want to try that again. Take her that way and go around the backside. The snake is coiled up looking at us. I'm hoping that when they go around the backside, it doesn't trigger the sound quite as much, and I want to see if she'll pick up on scent or still understand to avoid it, even though she's approaching it from a different angle. So rattle. And look at her behavior too. So her head is down, her ears are back, and her tail is down. If you guys are ever on a hike or a trail and you see that behavior, good girl. Perfect. And you see that behavior, be very wary of where you're at, make sure you're watching where you step. But I like that she kept a nice safe distance, because that's what's going to keep her safe. A rattlesnake she's good. A rattlesnake can only strike about 1/3 of their body length. So some people will tell you they'll lunge themselves. No way, that's like in movies. So they can only strike up to 1/3 of their body length. So if she's keeping a safe perimeter like that around a cage, then I'd like her to do that in the wild if she sees a snake and know keep her distance.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't correct her when she was at a distance too, because she knew, okay, I'm gonna stay over here and not get in trouble, and that's what it reinforces that behavior. Yes, you are correct, stay away and keep your distance, right? Because I had to give her so many corrections and remind her, I would really like to see her in the fall for another refresher.
Okay.
Then after that, if she avoids, great, and I don't have to give her any corrections in the fall, then I'll tell you you're probably good for once a year after that. But do try to keep up on it once a year if you guys can, just so she doesn't get complacent like she does with it. It happens. I mean, my dogs do it too sometimes. They get trained every year, and there are still times where they're like testy and they want to see, like, okay, nothing's happening. What happens if I go up there? So bring her back in the fall, around October or so. Thank you! I love that! Oh my God, this is